Hi friends and family, welcome back to my channel for another video. Today, I'm going to show you how to make fried cabbage my way. You heard me right, guys. We're going to make fried cabbage today. So go ahead and check the description box down below for what you will need for this recipe, and let's get started. Okay, now let me show you what we'll be working with for this video in regards to the vegetables. So I have a large onion and a half of a large onion, along with a whole head of cabbage and 1 red pepper. I'm going to begin to remove some of those leaves. You can see, guys, that needs to be removed. So that's self-explanatory. I'm removing the leaves. I've already washed all of my vegetables already. From this point on, it's already been washed. As you can see, the water on my counter. Now let me show you how I cut my cabbage. So just watch the video, guys. This is how I do it. I cut both sides off like you see me doing right here, and then from there, of course, I'm gonna cut these pieces like so. And there you go. I'm gonna do the same to both sides. And then, of course, no cabbage will be left behind. I'm going to use some of that piece right there. And the other part, I just don't believe it's any good, so I don't use it. If you use it, go right ahead. That's perfectly fine, guys. I choose not to. And then I thinly slice or cut my cabbage like you see me doing here. That, too, is pretty explanatory, so I'll go ahead and let you watch that part. And then this is how it looks once I've cut up all of the cabbage. I had to cut a lot, pretty much almost all of it out, because this video will be even longer. But this is how thin I like my strands, and this is how I cut up all my cabbage. Now I'm going to cut my onions up. I'm going to cut it in half like you see me doing right here, and just simply cut it up, chop it up. And I like mine fairly thin, not too thick, just kind of a medium. Yeah, I would say medium. So this is me cutting up my onions like you see me doing right here, and I'm going to do the same for all of the onions that I have here. And of course, this is how it looks once I am finished chopping up my onions, and I'll set that aside. Now we're going to go ahead and get this pepper cut. So as you can see, I like to cut those white pieces out. I do not keep that, guys. I cut that out. This is how I like mine. I would say I like them medium as well, if that is such a word, guys. So this is literally how I cut up my peppers. So yeah. That again is pretty explanatory. I remove those little white parts, and then I finish cutting it like you see me doing right here. And I cut them in like a medium size. Watch your fingers. You don't want to cut your fingers, guys, for some peppers. So that's something I try to be very conscious of. And this is how they look when I finish cutting them up. Let's go ahead and get that cast iron skillet. Put it on a medium heat like you see me doing right here. And you're going to let that cast iron skillet warm up. And then once it's warm, go ahead and add your olive oil. You don't have olive oil, go ahead and use whatever oil you have. That's perfectly fine, guys. I'm going to start with really rendering or cooking down my onions until they're about translucent. So I'll put the onions in first, and then I go ahead and add the peppers, and then I let them simmer a little bit so they can release some of the water from them, because we're frying this, guys. We're frying it. So now what I'm doing is going to go ahead and add a little bit of salt to it, not too much because you don't want to over season, and you're going to cook this until it is translucent. Then next we're going to go ahead and add half of our cabbage into this pan, like you see me doing here. And then once we add half of it, I do go ahead, well, this is still half, guys. I was making room. So this is half of the cabbage. Once you add half of your cabbage in, you do want to go ahead and season it, guys. I don't normally measure, but I did this for you guys. So I'm adding garlic, pepper, onion powder, seasoning salt. This is to the first half that I added. And then I mix it up a little bit to make sure everything is thoroughly combined. And then after I do that, I go ahead and add the second portion of my cabbage. And I didn't mention, but this is a large cast iron skillet. So now I'm adding the second half of my portion of my cabbage. I've already added all of the seasonings that I mentioned. I did forget to tell you that I added red pepper flakes and pepper, but all of that will be listed down below in the description box. So I do wash this. I have about a cup of water off to the side just to make sure that nothing is burning, because you do want to fry it, but you don't want it to be burned. So when I feel like that's getting a little dry on the bottom, just add water as needed. I don't overwater it, but I just add just enough water to make sure I'm not burning it. So you do continue to stir this throughout the entire process, guys. You don't want to set it and forget it. You want to continue to stir, and I'm so sorry my picture looks like this because, guys, the steam was just whew. But anywho, you continue to stir it until it looks like this. Now, guys, I am going to go ahead and give you the measurements to the seasoning on how I did mine, but I'm going to encourage you to make sure that you're tasting it along, because not everybody's cabbage is created equal. So taste yours along the way to make sure it's at your liking. You may want to use less seasoning, less whatever. So just make sure you taste it as you go, guys. And this is a close-up on how it looks at the end. Don't forget to check the description box for what you would need for the recipe and the ingredients. And since we're at the end of the video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell down below, guys, to be notified. And until the next one, bye.